with Prosymmetry. We're the distributors and developers of Tempus Resource and Tempus Portfolio. Today I'm going to be talking about how to size projects or epics for a well-managed portfolio. It's typical for organizations when they're wanting to maximize the flow of value through their portfolio to be gated by resource availability. So what we want to do in this exercise is initially size the work and make sure that your people and teams, as well as your work, are aligned to your strategic portfolio tracking attributes. And we're going to show you how to do that very easily here. So understand, please, that this is the first in a series of 4 videos that I'll be producing that talk about the resource portfolio management process and how that's critical to effective strategic portfolio planning. Today, we're going to be talking about sizing. This is an exercise that is consistent with best practices from Scaled Agile Inc., from the Project Management Institute, as well as the Resource Management Institute. So let's dive in. The first thing that we want to do is we're going to select a project here and go in and make sure that we've attributed it correctly from a portfolio planning perspective. This is very easy to do in Tempus. Very easy to create these attributes and just assign them. You know, this is a cost reduction kind of an effort. This is in the manufacturing portfolio or the state and local portfolio. You know, the kinds of typical portfolio tracking attributes that you would want to be able to report on. This is a project, an epic. It's keep the lights on work, whatever the case may be. Right. Once you've assigned your portfolio tracking attributes, then it's very easy to come in here and start allocating, doing initial high-level sizing, if you will. We typically see this done by project or epic at this point in the life of an initiative, but understand that you can do this by day, week, month, you know, whatever works well for you. In this particular case, we're going to do it by project or epic. Also, one of the nice things about our technology is that we fluidly let you go between estimating in time, dollars, FTE percentage, man days or person days, or even story points. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's say, for example, that Emma's one of our lead architects. We're comfortable with Emma, and we've got an estimate from her that according to the rough scope as we've defined it here, we're going to need roughly 750 hours of Emma's time. Now, we immediately see that that's roughly 36% of her time, right? Again, going back and forth here. Emma's got a rate associated with her. So this is going to cost us roughly $82,000. And that's what the business is looking for coming out of this. They want roughly an estimate for duration, effort, and especially costs. We go down to look at some of the agile teams that'll be associated with this work. Please note too that we've got teams of entirely different velocities from different parts of the organization. Our automation does that normalization on the back end. So as long as you provide us with your velocities, which can be easily updated as well, let's come in here and say, we get an estimate that it's going to take 250 story points from this team. Let's go down here and say, essentially, different team, 250 story points, and you can see, because they have different velocities, that this represents a different percentage of their time. The costs, again, come along for the ride. Obviously, teams more expensive than people. And speaking of costs, it's important to be able to track external expenses, for a sizing effort like this as well. So we make it very easy to enter your estimates, not just by hours, but also by dollars, right? If you're going to have a significant software expenditure on the front end of this as well, very easy to put this data in. So you can see that the business now should be understanding that this is roughly $1.5 to $1.6 million estimate. We can come in here and refine this over time. It's expected that, in fact, we would do that. And in the video that's following this, I'm going to show you how to do that. But what you have now done is you've unlocked the ability for the business to be able to track their work at a, by their portfolio planning attributes. So from a flow distribution perspective, very easy to see what my cost is per strategic theme. Or product portfolio, work type, whatever your portfolio planning attributes might be. Because your people have rates, you've tracked your expenses, you can now look further out into your timeline and see what's coming in the pipeline. And, is this going to meet expectations? Is the business going to be upset, for example, that you're only spending 35% of your planned dollars for the next year in revenue growth opportunities. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get this kind of granularity in reporting is by sizing your work. So the next video, we're going to be talking about what to do with the sizing next, which is, of course, refining it. But we've also unlocked the capability now to do virtual modeling, essentially model in a digital twin of your production environment, risk-free. You can see where you want to sequence this work. And we highly suggest doing this before you take these projects or epics to your governing approval body. That way you're setting the proper expectation as to when you're actually going to be able to start these work efforts, what efforts it's going to take, what risks you see, and how you might want to mitigate that, all done virtually. And we'll talk about that in the next video. In the meantime, if you'd like to open a discussion about how best to track resources and use that for your strategic portfolio planning, please reach out to us at prosymmetry.com. Thanks for your time.